Welcome to Business Concern. The topic is concentric circles. For those of you listening to the podcast or watching the video, the Venn diagrams referred to can be viewed in the article at the blog site, owneragreement.com. Dynamic planning is different from traditional planning for a business because of the format used for the plan. The traditional planning process begins as a strategic plan created by the policymaking group, which is often the owners, and frequently is printed, placed in a 3-ring notebook. This printed plan is the basis for the operational plan, describing actions to be taken to achieving the goals set in the strategic plan. The operational plan is printed and conveyed in various ways to productive employees who perform the actions described in the operational plan. The managers monitor the actions of the productive employees to determine their effectiveness in achieving the goals set in the strategic plan. At some point, the results of the actions are given to the owners, who will revise goals or set new goals. The effectiveness of this typical traditional plan scenario depends on the communication between the groups as each group performs its functions. The owners set goals and communicate the goals to the managers, but when actions to be taken to reach the goals are set and given to the productive employees, are the productive employees also made aware of the goals? When actions are taken and results monitored and measured, how soon are these results made known to the owners? When owners are given results, are productive employees consulted about results in order to revise goals or set new goals? The format of the dynamic plan can be as simple as a spreadsheet or take the more complicated form of a specialized software application such as Microsoft Teams. What makes the plan dynamic is that the format is shared and immediately available to all groups. Because the functions of the plan are communicated to all groups as done, there are no communication gaps. With a dynamic planning format, when the owners set a goal, the goal is communicated to all groups, including the productive employees. The managers, upon receiving the goal, set actions to achieve the goal, which is communicated to all groups. As actions are taken, the actions taking place and the effectiveness of the actions in achieving the goal are measured, and this information is communicated to all groups. Given the results of the actions taken, the owners may revise goals or set new goals, and these decisions will be communicated to all groups. The process repeats just as in traditional planning, but unlike traditional planning, all groups are aware of the status of the planning process. In addition, because of the communication format, knowledge unique to any group is more likely to be shared and can be easily communicated to the other groups. One way to represent the difference between traditional planning and dynamic planning is through a Venn diagram. A Venn diagram uses circles to show the relationships between sets of items. Circles that overlap show a commonality of set terms, while circles that do not overlap do not share set items. A simple example is with whales and fish. While whales give birth to live young and breathe above water, fish lay eggs and breathe underwater. Both live in the ocean. Circles containing a set of these items for whales and fish will intersect to show both live in the ocean. Planning is a set of the following items: owner values, business goals, actions to achieve goals, measuring the effectiveness of actions, and revision of goals. The major groups in a business are owners, managers, and productive employees. The owners articulate values, set goals, and revise goals. The managers use goals to determine actions to achieve goals and measure the effectiveness of actions. The productive employees perform actions and measure the effectiveness of actions. The traditional planning Venn diagram shows that owners and managers share goal functions, that managers and productive employees share measuring the effectiveness of actions, and that owners and productive employees share revision of goals. Dynamic planning uses a format that communicates all of the items of the planning set, except for the articulation of owner values, to all business groups. The Venn diagram for dynamic planning with concentric circles shows the communication of all of the items of the planning set, except for the articulation of owner values to all business groups. A word about owner values. Owner values should be articulated between owners. There frequently can be situations where owner values should not be articulated to the entire business. While owner values are reflected in the goals set by the owners, the communication of owner values should be a matter for the discretion of each owner. With dynamic planning, all of the groups in a business, owners, managers, and productive employees, have immediate access to all planning items: setting of goals, setting of actions to reach goals, measuring the effectiveness of those actions, and revising goals when they occur. The communication gaps, which are so often the reason for the ineffectiveness of traditional planning, are eliminated with dynamic planning. The concentric circle Venn diagram illustrates the primary advantage of using a business planning format that supports dynamic planning. My name is Rick Rebusel. I'm Principal Consultant with Business Transition Consulting. Thanks.